Exactly. Right now we're gonna suck out the air out of the coolant system. I think I've seen one of these before, but I've never used one before.
So it's a venturi. So like you put compressed air to it and it blows compressed air through a venturi, which creates a vacuum, so it sucks all
flow, coolant, flow. So this makes it way easier. You don't have to worry about getting air bubbles in the coolant system because the venturi sucks all the air out of it.
Especially with this car, because it's got the radiator like all the way up in the front, and otherwise there's like this stupid little bleed valve under the dashboard you have to do.
This creeper is broken and it doesn't roll. So it's leaking. Yeah. It's the coolant bypass by the thermostat that goes to the heater core. So we need to go get a coolant hose for that. Now we filled up the coolant, there's a leak. So we gotta go get a coolant hose. We gotta pick it up. We ordered a new turbo for it. We're putting the CT26 from the MR2 Supra on it. But yeah, so now we gotta go pick up some parts and then I don't know what's next. It's another day. We actually just got done at the rally event. If you guys had checked out that video already. We now have parts so we can go back and install them on Mr. Dose. Charlie has some more things we want to check out to try to get it to run. We're gonna go head there right now and do some work on the car after we stop at O'Reilly's. I have the turbo that I am going to get ready to stick on this car. It's a CT26 off a MR2 Supra. It's not the same as the CT26 that comes on the JDM 3S GTE, despite both being called a CT26. So here is the CT26 for the MR2 Supra. It is a used but rebuilt turbo, supposedly. Well, this is the part right here. The center section is actually what is cracked on our turbo. The entire section is just completely cracked and it's pouring oil out. The differences between the two are on the MR2 Supra has a steel turbine wheel, whereas 3S GT and the MR2 is ceramic. So there's pros and cons of both. Obviously ceramic's gonna spool a bit better because it's lighter. However, it's more fragile. Downfall of the steel one is obviously the steel is going to be heavier, so it's gonna be a little bit laggier.
Theoretically, you would want to have
Theoretically, you want to have an ow?
Yeah, theoretically you would want to have if you're going to try to make more horsepower, you would want to have the Supra turbine housing because it's going to be larger and it's going to flow more air. So your exhaust side essentially isn't going to restrict your top end power. But since this is stock and I just want boost fairly quickly and at a reasonable amount, then we're just going to leave it. Assuming it fits. It might not fit, and then I'll have to get a Celica downpipe and a bunch of other stuff. So we'll see.
So this little guy right here is the circuit opening relay.
Where's my phone?
This is a Charlie phone. Smells like old fuel.
Oh yeah, it's definitely stinky old fuel.
The fuel pump is primed and running right now by bypassing that relay. So either we got a wiring issue or we probably got a wiring issue, huh?
Yeah, that also gives the ECM power.
Now it's not starting at all. Well, it's now day number 3. This video is gonna have so many different days in it. We don't get a lot of time to work on the car, so once this thing runs and drives, I'm gonna take it to my house and then I'll be able to work on it a lot more. But today, Charlie's gonna work on the car. I'm gonna help him work on it until around lunchtime, and then I have to go back to my house to edit a video, which you guys have probably already watched by now. It takes me hours to edit videos. It's really nice out today. We have the canopy up. My vampire ass can't stand out in the bright sun because I will burst into flames. So the wheels that are on Mr. Dose, these Enkis, we are going to be getting rid of these wheels. They are faded. What I'm going to do is refinish them with some silver wheel paint and obviously mask off the Enki logo, but I just want to make them look new again. I really like white wheels on a red car. That's just me. I love white wheels, period. But I think on the RPF ones, the bronze RPF ones will look really good on this red. It seems like everyone on the SW20 goes with Enki RPF ones.
But they look good and they're light and they're good quality.
They are.
So
I like some 1552s.
The 5 Zygens would look really good on it too, but they're not particularly cheap.
So if you guys have any suggestions of wheels, let us know in the comment section.
Pin 4 of the EFI main relay branches off 2 places. It goes over here. It goes to the circuit opening relay and provides power to a point there. It also comes down over here and goes to plus B and plus B1 on the ECU. Now, if you come back here and you pin out pin 4 relay.
This is the EFI main relay.
Right. If you come back here on the EA1 plug,
You have continuity.
I have continuity. Obviously, I have continuity coming out of it into this black wire. I got nothing. That should be continuity. It should be no ohms at all.
Yeah.
Like
I want to
this,
know why we don't have a plus B1. It's really odd that we only have plus B but not plus B1.
because that should be what gives the ECU power when the ignition is on.
Is plus B1?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Plus B and plus B1 should both have power with the ignition on.
I say we just buy a Mega Squirt standalone and just be done with this wiring hack job. I love wiring problems. Like, that was my specialty when I was in the Air Force. Like, I was an aerospace mechanic, but now we're just getting to the point where we're like chasing ghosts. And the fact that it's like mismatched wiring harnesses from different engines and cars makes it like almost impossible to troubleshoot, aside from chasing wires individually one by one, which is we're at the point now where we literally need to start chasing wires and doing voltage checks and isolating stuff, continuity checks on wires to see if we have broken wires anywhere. It's probably something really simple and stupid once we finally figure it out, because it always is.
This black and yellow wire that goes back through the body harness goes who knows where.
So we'll try, I can't even say her name. I almost said Charos. Well, Charos. Well, Charlie is deciphering this wiring. Literally, there's not enough room for two people to be doing this. We're just gonna be standing on top of each other. He's gonna be working on the wiring. I need to be productive, so I am taking the shop back and I am just going to town under the frunk area, and I'm gonna go through the interior because this car has been sitting for years. So the interior, we have like a new dash panel because this one is cracked. We have a brand new like stereo surround panel. We did have the turbo little cubby right here, but the previous owner still has it, so we have to get that back. The interior, all in all though, is in good shape. There are a few pieces that aren't installed in here, but we do have them. The only part that's missing is we don't have the other T-top cover. But I'm gonna go through with the shop vac and I'm going to get the main garbage cleaned up inside here.
I found something janky.
What's a janky?
Janky, like sketchy.
You're sketchy pigeons because fuck you.
This is the plus B terminal of the ECM, and right next to it, where there's this empty spot, is supposed to be plus B1, which is the same color wire, and this is taped up in the harness, and I have no continuity like friggin' anywhere for these two wires where it's supposed to be. So
Didn't I say that? Didn't I say that there was a possibility that would be disconnected inside the harness?
You did.
No, that was all you, but I did guess that. So the importance of that black wire with the yellow stripe that he was showing you, it's the power for the ECU. So we were getting power to the ECU through BAT, but we weren't getting the keyed signal, which is plus B and plus B1. That's when it's put in the on position. That we were never getting because that junction was pulled apart. So by Charlie fixing that junction, in theory, hopefully, this will allow the ECU to get power as well as a ton of other major components, because that same wire runs to, what did it go to, Charlie? It goes to a test connector, the fuel pump,
The ECM,
the
main relay for the EFI, the cutout relay, like it powers like all kinds of stuff. I plugged them all into the ECU. I'm gonna go connect the battery right now, and we're gonna see if it runs.
They put the ignition switch right next to the cigarette lighter. Apparently in 1991, smoking was so important that the cigarette lighter had to be right next to the key. Okay, time to crank it. Ready? No fuel.
Well, I don't understand why it started before and now it doesn't start now that we've hooked up the wires that are supposed to be hooked up,
So this is like day 4 in this video. We got to a point troubleshooting the car the other night where we just got so frustrated because we kept chasing wires down and then we'd find like broken wires inside harnesses. We kind of really had to look at how many hours are going into this car, and we've put a lot of hours into just electrical troubleshooting just to get this car to run. And also on top of that, the fact that we don't have a turbo transmission, turbo brakes, the turbo rear axles or hubs, exhaust. The turbo that we got in, possibly, we don't know because we haven't got the car to run correctly, but we don't think the turbo's good. When we further took it apart to swap the parts over, we found the oil passage lines were clogged full of silicone RTV. It's really questionable how well that thing was rebuilt. So what we've decided to do before we waste any more time and money is we're gonna do this the right way. We're gonna get a rear cut from a JDM Gen 3 MR2. That way we can have everything fresh. We're gonna go over the body harness once we have the engine out and make sure everything is there correctly. And then when we get the JDM clip, we're gonna wire it up the right way. You guys are seeing what we're going through, and this is what a lot of people run into when they pick up a project car that other people have worked on and never finished. And hopefully you guys enjoy. There'll be a lot more content coming. Ha! Speaking of which, here's more car parts for the Forester. So, be more videos coming up on that as well. Bye. I can't wait with the box in my hand. Bye.